Dear students, welcome to Army Public School PMA Resource Network. Before we start today's subject Social Studies, don't forget to subscribe this page and click on bell icon so that you can regularly receive notification of upcoming videos. This is week number 7. Today I am here to focus on the study of social studies for grade 5. And today my topic is scale. Now let's go to the learning objectives which are as shown on the slide. These are: define scale and its ways to calculate what distance on the map will be on the actual ground, and demonstrate the skill of using map scales to measure roads and rivers. What is scale and in how many ways is it used? Scale shows us how much the physical features or the area mapped have been reduced. Students, it means scales are shown on maps because it is impossible to draw a life-size map. Therefore, the actual size of an area is reduced by a constant factor. For example, a small area may be shown on the map is 1000 times smaller than it really is. Using the scale, we are able to calculate what distance on the map will be on the actual ground. A scale can be shown in a different ways. First way is statement scale. In a statement scale, we are able to calculate what distance on the map will be on the actual ground in words as ratio and as a line. Or bar scale. Bar scale, which we are used to calculate what distance on the map will be on the actual ground. Statement scale. On some maps, scales are explained in the form of numbers or words. Statement scale can be used into 3 ways. First one is in words. The scale is stated, for example, 1 centimeter to 1 kilometer. That means 1 centimeter on the map is 1 kilometer on the ground. Second is as ratio. The statement may appear as 1 ratio 100,000 means 1 centimeter on the map represents 100,000 centimeter or kilometer on the ground. Third is a line. A line is divided into units, each representing a certain distance. In the scale, 1 centimeter represents 50,000 centimeter on the ground, means 50,000 centimeter is equal to 0.5 kilometer, and 1 centimeter on a map represents 0.5 kilometer on the actual ground. Bar scale. Scale on a map can also be shown by a bar divided into equal parts. If a distance of 1000 kilometer is represented by 4 centimeter on the map, a 4 centimeter line will be shown divided into 4 sections. On one side of the bar, measurements will be shown in centimeters, and on the other side, the corresponding true distance will be shown in kilometers. Thus, in this example, 1 centimeter on the map will represent 250 kilometer on the ground. Using a map scale to measure roads and rivers. Students, to measure the lengths of roads and rivers as shown on maps, you will need a piece of thread or thin string. Use different steps. First step is locate the road or river you want to measure on the map. Second step is place one end of the thread at one end of the road or the river you want to measure and mark the starting point with a pen. Third step is trace the length of the road or river with the thread as shown in the picture. Mark the thread with a pen when you come to the point where you want to stop measuring. This is fourth step. Fifth step is place the thread along the given scale for the map and make the first mark against 0 on the scale. Measure the distance to the other mark along the scale, reading off the answer according to the scale. Last step is record your reading. These are the steps which we are using a map scale to measure roads and rivers. This is week number 8. Today I am here to focus on the study of social studies for grade 5 and my topic is calendar. Objectives. The learning objectives of today's lesson are differentiate between the solar and lunar calendars and define a decade, a century and millennium. Calendar. What is the importance of calendar and why we need calendar useful for every day? When human civilization began, farmers needed a calendar that would fix the dates for the beginning and end of the different seasons of the year so that crops could be planted and harvested on time. Today, we need calendars to record events and to plan production and delivery of goods and services. For this purpose, Pakistan and most other countries of the world use the solar calendar and Islamic lunar calendar. Students, the difference between solar calendar and lunar calendar is that solar calendar is based on the orbit of the earth around the sun, and lunar calendar is based on the movement of the moon around the earth. Students, the Islamic lunar calendar is also used in Pakistan and other Muslim countries to confirm the days for religious celebrations and observances, for examples, Ramadan and Eids. What are the differences between lunar and solar calendars? The main differences between lunar and solar calendars are shown on the slide. These are: the lunar calendar is a measure of the moon's rotation around the earth, but the solar calendar is a measure of the earth's rotation around the sun. The year on the lunar calendar has 354 days, but the year on the solar calendar has an average 365.25 days. Students, the Islamic lunar calendar is based on the number of days the moon takes to make one complete orbit around the earth, which is 29.5 days, the actual time between two new moons. A lunar year consists of 354 days, as the half day cannot be shown in a calendar. It is accommodated by having some months of 30 days and some of 29. But in a solar calendar, the year is based on the number of days the earth takes to make a complete orbit of the sun, which is 365 full days and an extra quarter day each year. Since it is not practical to add an extra 6 hours onto the end of each year. At the end of every fourth year, a whole extra day is added to the month of February to make the calendar consistent with the Earth's orbit. These years of 366 days are called leap year. Students, this picture shows the difference between lunar and solar calendar. It should also be noted that unlike the solar calendar, the Islamic lunar calendar cannot maintain a fixed relation with the cycle of seasons, because the lunar calendar year is 11 days shorter than the solar calendar year. As a result, the months of the lunar calendar systematically shift about 11 days forward each year with respect to the months of the solar calendar. Now come towards next slide. A decade, a century and a millennium. What is a decade? A decade is a period of 10 years. When we talk about 2 decades, we mean 20 years and so on. What is a century? A century is a period of 100 years. When we say that we are living in the 21st century, it means that we have passed 20 sets of 100 years since the birth of Christ. The years of the 21st century will begin with 20 and not 21st. Students, 1 century according to the Islamic calendar means 100 lunar years have passed since the hijrah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Makkah to Medina. 1400 means that 14 sets of 100 lunar years have passed since the hijrah. What is a millennium? A millennium is a period of 1000 years. When we speak of 2 millennia, it means 20,000 years and so on. Before moving towards home task, I will share success criteria of the lesson. Remember to highlight the important points on book, Study the pictures with titles carefully and present written work in clear and legible handwriting. Now moving towards activity session and home task. Find out the date according to the solar calendar when Eid al-Fitr occurred last year. Make the comparison with 5 years ago and the next year. And write the meanings of any 5 difficult words from pages 30 to 32. Also learn spellings of difficult words and use the given link to submit your home task. Student apms.pk